Welcome back to our class, everyone. We're going to be working on our background for our Alebrije. The Alebrije is a fantastical creature in Hispanic folklore that is a guide in the afterlife. For my Alebrije, I use symbolism to represent me. I chose a raven because a raven is the sacred animal of Apollo, and Apollo is the god of the arts, prophecy, and sun. I love the sun, and I also love art. For my symbols here, I did the Neverland star. Here we have the second star to the right, which is Neverland in Peter Pan, one of my absolute favorite Disney movies. I also did the evil eye to represent my Greek culture. In the Greek culture, there is the thing called the evil eye that the Greeks believe keeps away evil. And then I use turquoise here because that's my favorite color. And purple is the color of my college school, Tarleton. So you can see how I use colors and icons to symbolize me. When you're doing your Alebrije, think about how you can do that. For the background, we're going to be doing a galaxy scene. All you'll need is your watercolor, sponge, some water, and maybe some salt. And once it dries, completely dry, we can use these to add some more stars in. This here is a white gel pen. This one here is called an acrylic painting pen. It has acrylic paint inside it, a very thick paint. We'll probably be using that later. And when you use it, it comes out nice and white. To start off with, I'm going to just wet a little area here, just like that. Not the whole page, just a small area. And then I'm going to start with my favorite color, blue. Just dab, dab, dab. Alright, while that's still wet, now I'm going to get a different color. Notice how every time I change my colors, I will go in and I wash my brush. Swish, swish, and flick. Dab it here, get all that blue out. And now I'm going to go in with some red, maybe. Dab, 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 and it makes a beautiful red violet. I'm going to do that red again. This time I'm going to be using purple. And once again, dab, dab, dab. Make sure you go all the way to the end. I won't worry too much about getting stuff on your Alebrije, because here's the thing. The Alebrije is completely dry. If you don't put water on it, the watercolor is not going to go on it. That's just how it works. So make sure you don't wet it and you should be fine. While it's wet, I can go in with some salt, just a sprinkle, not a lot, and add the stars in. A little galaxy. If it gets too wet at any part, you can use a tissue paper to make clouds. I'll go in with some green now. When I mix blue and green together, that makes a tertiary color. A tertiary color is a color when you mix a primary and a secondary together. So my secondary color is green and my primary color is blue. I mix those together and it makes a beautiful turquoise. I'm going to go ahead and speed this video up a little bit. So the technique I use to make my galaxy is called wet on wet, and I also use my paper towel. You can see it's kind of bunched up. Any part that got way too wet, I went in and I dabbed it just a little bit to make the clouds, and it has a really cool technique. You can see there's some red popping through, there's some purple there. I did that all this with the little tissue paper. Once it's completely dry, the last step for your Alebrije painting is going to be to add the stars in. I have to do this once it's dry. Before we move on to the next step, you gotta clean your palette and make sure it's clean for the next person. These little wipes will be used to clean. Put it in, just make sure it's a little bit damp and wipe it down. Brush, dab it, test it here on your hand, and it's still kind of dirty, swish, and so on, test it, and it's clean. Put it back inside the palette, and you're all set for the next step. So I let it dry for about 5-10 minutes, and it should be good now to be using these. The gel pen is a little bit still too wet for the gel pen, but this has wet paint inside it, so it'll be okay. So next step, we're going to bring back the bird. If you look, the background's kind of wild and it takes away from the bird. So we're going to go in and outline the bird and get some more detail. We're going in and outlining the bird. Maybe in where the eyes are. My problem that I did, I used way too much water. You do not want to use that much water. That's my problem with watercolor. I'm used to using acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is very thick and it dries very fast. Watercolor is very loose and watery and dries super fast also. But when you use too much water, it sometimes makes it really muddy and it bleeds. That's why it's kind of dark at the background, but that's okay. That's why we have the white pens. You can go back in and bring your stuff in. Just going in, adding detail. stars. You do not need to dot it a lot, just a little bit. You'll notice how my evil eye kind of got destroyed because of the water. I used way too much water, so learn from my mistakes. Don't use a lot of water. Any mistake you make, you can turn into a masterpiece. It just takes patience and dedication. Alebrije is done. Once again, I use what I want in the background to do my the galaxy. I use lines, shape, and color to create my Alebrije pattern. We use organic shapes to make the animal and geometric shapes to make the eyes here for the evil eye. Organic shapes are shapes you see in nature. Geometric shapes are shapes that you see in the map, such as circle, triangle, square, rectangle, all those nice shapes you see. And the shapes in nature are organic. So the elements that we used for this lesson were shapes, line, color,